Okay, today we're going to be looking a little bit about using intercepts to graph lines and to figure out equations of lines. This line here, you can see it only has one intercept. It only crosses the x-axis. So since it only has one point where it touches an axis, that point right here, what that means is it's only going to have one variable. Now, since the axis this thing touches is the x-axis, what you're going to be looking at is just having a value of x equals 1. In fact, anytime you have a vertical line like that, it's going to be x equals 1. And you notice that any point on this line, like we've talked about before, have the point 1, 6, have the point 1, negative 3. Any point on that line does have an x coordinate of 1. So that's why your answer for this would just be the equation x equals 1. And since the directions do say to write the equation, you do need to type in the entire x equals 1, and then that should be your correct answer. Let's go ahead and try another one of these. This one, once again, only touches one axis, only the negative 6. So touches once right there. Since it touches the x-axis, it's an x equals line. And like we mentioned on the last one, any point on that line would have an x value of negative 6, so it's x equals negative 6. By the way, this is not a function because you have points stacked on top of each other, but we can still write the equation. Okay, let's see if we can try another one. The y equals 0 is going to ask you for what type of line. On this, you're going to actually be graphing it. So since it's a y equals line, it's going to touch the y-axis and across the y-axis right there. And since you put the point right there where y equals 0, you're going to draw the line so that this line only crosses the y-axis. The reason for that is there's the point 0, 0. But then like over here, you have the point 6, 0, where the x value changes, but the y value is still 0, or back there you have negative 4, 0. Any point you pick on that line has a y value of 0. So to do one like this, what you have to do is you have to say, okay, I'm going to have a horizontal. It's a flat line. You can think about the horizon in a painting, and then you can drag the line so that it comes to the point y equals 0. You do have to get it close, but it doesn't have to be perfect, but get it as close as you can. Submit your answer, and it should take that as correct. Okay, let's look at another one. This one, we're writing the equation of the line they gave us. So that is crosses at 6, and since it touches the y-axis, that's a y equals 6. So this gives you the idea of what you're going to be doing on these. Some of them, they're going to be giving you the equation and asking you to graph it like the last one. Some of them, they'll be giving you a graph and expecting you to get an equation. We'll go ahead and look at some examples from the next section, I think. Okay, this next section, most of these problems have an x and a y, so that means it's going to touch both axes. To find out where, to find the x-intercept, I basically know y will be 0, so that's gone. That leaves me with an 8x equals 40. So my x-intercept value after I divide by 8 is 5. So that's how I can find the x-intercept. Find the y-intercept, any point on the y-axis, x will be 0. So get rid of the x term, and I have 4y equals 40. So after dividing by negative 4, I have a y-intercept of negative 10. Be sure you take care of those negatives very carefully. And then to get your graph, what you will be doing is you'll put your x-intercept at 5, which it already is there, but grab that blue dot on the y-axis and pull it down to negative 10. And then once you get something close to that, you should be able to submit your answer. And once again, doesn't have to be perfect, does need to be close. If the x and y-intercept are correct, the line's correct. And you can always graph a line this way. We'll try one more if we have time. On this one, we're looking for an x-intercept and a y-intercept. So my x-intercept, get rid of the y term and divide both sides by 2. So I have an x-intercept of 6. For y-intercept, get rid of the x term, so that leaves me a 2y is 12. I'll be dividing by 2 again, so that gives me a y-intercept of positive 6. So once again, x and y-intercept are both positive. Move the points correctly to positive 6, and then that's how you do this section. I should be able to submit that, and it should be the correct answer. Please reach out and let me know if you have any questions on how to do these problems.